Hi, my name's Leslie Ann. I'm a community member of Knightswood, and this is my local community centre where the social capital event was hosted. I moved to Knightswood about 3 years ago, and it's a good community. It's a close-knit community with my local neighbours. I know my neighbours across the road, I know the neighbours next door. Actually, I know quite a few of the neighbours in my surrounding area.
I'm Margaret O'Donnell, and I'm the Cultural Services Officer for Netherton Community Centre. We've got a lot of older people that have got things on for themselves. We have quite a lot of young families have moved into the area as well. So it's a lot of communities within community in the area. It's a great community. People are really down to earth. People are proud of their community. A lot of people who live here have been here for generations. And we have many wise elders here.
Which one?
One of the blacks.
Which one? No, that one.
The brown?
It was that one. It's further over a wee bit.
It's a strong community, but they weren't necessarily coming together.
If you want to have competent communities, you need to use the strengths and the gifts and the talents of the members of a community. If you do not use it, you lose it.
Welcome everybody, and thank you for coming along. We are really pleased and proud to be here for the Social Capital World Forum Learning Village.
Sitting and listening to people, sharing ideas and helping to build trust amongst each other.
Working in small groups, learning from people from all walks of life, from all over the world has been fascinating.
My name is Stefan, I'm from Austria.
My name is Caroline and I'm from Sweden. Sometimes it's a little bit frustrating, people don't really know what they're here for, what we are doing, but then when you sit down and you start talking to people, you realize that we're here actually for the connection between people.
We're the youngest people in the room. So, but it doesn't matter, like we've done it really well with mostly adults. They have really great ideas, come from different youth groups, have different stories, and learning about that is really good.
Identify what is it you'd like to be doing, what are your aspirations, what is it you want for a place, what do you want for your communities?
It's a lot to do with empowering people and giving people that space to be empowered.
And helping the community be somewhere that everybody wants to come and everybody's happy within and healthy and can really enjoy life.
How people can support each other, how people can feel welcome, how people can feel included, how people can feel secure and safe. But also, like they have something to give, they're valued within that community.
And it's really nice to be part of an international team working on social capital.
He believes that there are 3 levels of living with people. There's tolerance, there's equality, and there's value. And he wants people to value people, not just tolerate them because maybe you don't like somebody who's black, but value them irrespective of who they are and what they are from.
And let it happen, and it can be good.
It almost felt like a UFO had come. This is going to sound a bit zany. It's like a UFO had come and landed in Glasgow for a little while, and I can't quite remember how it all happened, how I even ended up taking part.
I think it was amazing that we were able to come together with people from all over Europe to talk about our communities and to find commonalities and to work on issues together. And that's something I'd never seen before in Netherton. Or in any community centre. I hadn't been aware of that ever happening. And it set our sights higher. It made us not compare ourselves with our neighbours in Drumchapel or our neighbours in Anisan, but our neighbours in Europe. It was very levelling, it was very equalising. It was great to sit around the table as equals and discuss projects, and for everybody's ideas to be treated equally and listened to. And I think we went from a group of people, a group of individuals with different job titles or none, to a group that was really witnessing the emergence of something, you know, and something quite new and very creative, and a new way of working in the community.
If you want to be successful in business, you need to know what is lacking. So schools are focusing, what are the deficits? What is it that you do not know? Or the health system is focusing is what does need to be fixed in you. This is only one point of view of the world we are in. And there is an alternative point of view that is absolutely as real as this one. And it's the point of view of abundance. In order to create abundance, we do not focus on deficits, but we focus on strengths. We focus on gifts and talents. Each and every person in our community, wherever we are, has access to strengths and gifts.
It was great to meet people from all over, right, and to see that wherever you are, whatever community you're in, it's the same process. It's about building relationships, it's about looking at the assets, it's about working and not bringing in an agenda, looking at what the individual communities are needing.
It felt different. It wasn't led by someone who had a staked interest. It just felt like it was a genuine meeting of minds.
I've been to events where there was an agenda, but it was very badly organised and it was really frustrating, whereas this wasn't like that. This was about facilitating and hosting a space, bringing people together, and then those people collectively working through different techniques, through the World Cafe, through storytelling, just spending time understanding, learning, getting to know people, to then say, well, these are the things that we're starting to identify here. A lot of organisations have, I suppose, different reasons for existing. But at the end of the day, most of the organisations that we work with in this area are about improving people's lives, improving the health and well-being of people in the communities. So we have a range of activities and services such as cycling, bike recycling, community gardening, clean-ups.
Boys are
And having those connections and knowing that there's other communities that are facing the same challenges as them, or that are doing the same types of activities, or that people have expertise or knowledge, or they've got resources, even simple things like litter pickers, knowing that there's there's 5 or 6 people you can phone to say, right, we're doing a community clean-up, can we borrow X, can we borrow Y, to make things happen, and do you want to get involved as well? Certain areas that we work in are often described and defined as areas of deprivation, but when you're in these areas, there's a good buzz, there's some really good people doing some really great stuff, so it's important to focus on the strengths and the potential rather than just accepting the label that the labels that are put on.
Give your bike a check if you want. No, that's okay. Good for you.
It's for me. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Oh wow, it's hot. That just.
It's just baked.
Just baked.
Yeah.
Community with a wee bit of, as I said, that wee bit of vision, wee bit of organisation can just make things happen. And it's not about money. It's often just about accessing the resources and the skills. And when you get people together and loads of local businesses able to support what's happening. And if you don't ask, you don't get. So, yeah, I think it's just having that wee bit of self-belief to say we can do this for ourselves.
Well, Glasgow Life works in a tradition of public service in the cultural field that goes back 150 years. We're very good at providing services for people, and we provide some very good services. What we're less good at is saying to communities, what are your needs in our area, culture and sport, and how can we support you in meeting those needs? So it's the concept of social capital and assists methods of applying social capital are what we need to make that flip from here's what we provide, how do you like it, to what do you need, what are you interested in, how do you want to relate to people, and how can we support that?
It's what is the school teaching them, and it's quite high level.
My overall impression of the Learning Village was, I suppose, a renewed conviction that social capital and social capital-based facilitation approaches have huge potential to create the positive energy that Glasgow needs to regenerate its, in particular, its deprived communities. People in those areas have been consulted endlessly, and there's huge fatigue with bureaucracies engaging with them, consulting with them, and even if the consultation is genuine, it's so long before anything happens. They get very dispirited, if not cynical, and in that environment, seeing the huge enthusiasm that the process had generated was really quite inspiring.
The hub's been there, so that's just...
Recovery is another word that is hard to define in lots of ways, but the way that we define it is that addiction actually is the gradual erosion of social capital. The more addicted to a substance you become, the less connected to people and the outside world you become, until ultimately, for lots of people, their experience is just them and that substance. That is the world. Social capital and recovery capital is the gradual building up of connections.
So what I've done is, because there's a few people here from Craig Miller, there's a really rubbishy, but it doesn't matter. For what we're doing today, it doesn't matter about the quality of the map, but there is a sketchy map of Craig Miller.
That your community, where you exist, already contains everything that you need. It's just that perhaps we got out of the habit of paying attention to it.
The hardest things to find, and this whole thing I call a treasure hunt.
We live in a consumerist world, and that a consumerist world actually works on a scarcity model. It makes us believe that things aren't available to us, and if they do become available, it's a transactional process that needs to happen.
We don't have to provide everything ourselves. There's all this stuff that already exists that we just need to cast out our net to and draw it in and just make it all available to everyone. So it's just about maximising all that, and that's it. Treasure hunt. And that's why it is treasure. It is treasure. Here is a space. Jangling.
So yeah, jangling space was the idea at the village that I pitched up. The idea is it's fundamentally from the get-go, this is important that it's a cooperative. So it has to be based within the community so that the wider community can feel like it's theirs. So the product is ultimately stained glass.
And at these workbenches are people from the community who come in because they're curious, and what they're doing is they're making pieces that end up jangling, and these pieces are like stained glass, mosaic.
But what was great, having so many like-minded people around and knowledgeable people about social capital and abundance and just a community approach to everything, was that I could speak to them about what the idea was. They could tell me their experiences of similar things. So I got an idea from some of the people there who were from Austria, were telling me about a very similar space that they knew about.
I could easily populate it, but it would lose something about that then.
Yeah, but for example, there are a lot of newly arrived asylum seekers and refugees in the area.
This may be a brilliant idea, but it must be owned by those who should work here.
One of the communities that we're thinking of on the south side of Glasgow has real issues of people within that community trying to talk the area down. It's messy, it's dirty, it's dark. And it is in lots of ways, but it's still only one side of the story. There's still beauty in that community. And what we're saying to our people at Jangling Space is, go and find things and bring them back, and we'll turn this mess, this horrible mess, we'll turn it into like beautiful things. When we pay attention to the community of Glasgow and we look closely, there's some very beautiful things around. Yeah. So just the tiling is amazing. Straight away, all handmade and no place tiles. I mean, everywhere I go, because Jangling Space is about stained glass, I am paying attention to stained glass everywhere I go. And since I've been on the Learning Village, I've been to various places, not just like I've been to Berlin and I've been here, there, and seen these. So everywhere I go, I'm paying attention to stained glass. And yet, someone I met at the Learning Village, just round the corner from where I live, their office has the most amazing stained glass that I've ever seen in all my travels. So, we enter into what can only be deemed as stained glass wonderland, really. Here we go.
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey the last few months.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it has been. So everything has a sort of nautical theme to it. There's the shark. Then after the fish.
So when we first came to the space here at YCSA, my role at the organisation was within youth work, and I didn't originally think that this space was useful in terms of the things that I wanted to do with the young people and achieve the things that I wanted to do. I kind of grew to realise that actually the space was very beneficial in connecting the young people to the things and the values of the organisation. So things that we appreciated about it, like the beauty and the respect of the art and the effort that goes into creating something like this, I think that reflected back to the young people in terms of them realising journeys of their own life as well. Brian first brought up Jangling Space. My first experience of Jangling Space was at the Learning Village, and Brian kind of spoke about it there. So when Brian spoke about kind of like using that glass and creating Jangling Space, it instinctively kind of connected with me right away. And if I hadn't been at the Learning Village, that wouldn't have happened, you know. So and I wouldn't have had that because, you know, Brian's in the same neighbourhood as me, but we've just never crossed paths. So it's strange how something that kind of internationally was happening and brought us to a space on the other side of the city just created that opportunity for us to connect. When Brian spoke to me about Jangling Space afterwards and spoke about the kind of things that he wanted to do and about creating the organisation, kind of a structure and things like that, I was really keen to get involved. So,
I mean, the glass and the beauty is really important, and that gives people a sense of belonging and pride and so on. It instills that in them almost automatically. But it is about place as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what Jangling Space is about. It's about place, and actually let's recognise the beauty around us.
We aren't thinkers, we are the feelers and the philosophers to boot, dreaming into being new ways to suit our diversity, our village, the new university.
You know, it feels like there is a change happening. Whether it's a counteraction to the way that the sort of mainstream society would want us to go, something is changing, and it feels like people are going back to what's natural, and I think that natural thing is social capital.
And social capital, as I say, is something that is going on all the time.
But how to make it happen, how to bring it out in people that this is the way that communities will benefit, and this is the way that they should be going.
But certainly the impact of being at the event and the feeling and the learning and the knowledge and the sense that actually we could organise this ourselves, we can do this, we can use these techniques and tools, is in the forefront of where we're at the moment.
As a development worker, to be able to actually work with the community and with the groups and not just do it to them and give them the information.
I think it's a really positive way to work and a very empowering way for people to be heard and to contribute to their communities.
This is the start of a journey. This is of something that could be significant in the way in which we work.
Taking a step back and just having a breathe and chilling out and have fun, and things will happen. Things will happen.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm a real optimist, but I feel that something is changing and it's not being explicitly expressed yet, but we're at the early stages of it.
I came back and said, we've been experimenting with this, we now need to move it to the next stage. We need to try and do it on a much bigger scale.
Do you know what? This is the way the wind is blowing.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, Netherton!
Of decay.